You know what scares me more than moving abroad? It's moving abroad because you watch 3 Live Like a King videos and then realize that the place you fell in love with doesn't exist anymore. The housing prices reset, the neighborhoods changed, and the locals are tired of the wave you just arrived with. So consider this. The biggest mistake people make in 2026 isn't picking a bad country. It's picking a country based on outdated hype and showing up late after the property values surged and the vibe shifted. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Mark, and I help people just like you plan relocations and buy and sell property in the U.S. and around the world. And I've personally helped over 500 families successfully relocate and buy homes with confidence. So today, I'm going to walk you through a handful of places that look amazing online, but could be a rough move in 2026. All right, so let's start in with Mexico City. And I like to say that you can't judge one country by a city. CDMX, short for Mexico City, is still one of the most exciting cities in the hemisphere. The culture is deep, the food scene is world-class, the neighborhoods are vibrant, but 2026 is not 2016. Mexico continues to deal with cartel activity and periodic regional unrest. Now, to be clear, most of that violence is concentrated in specific states and border regions, not in Roma or Condesa on a Tuesday afternoon. But perception matters. Headlines influence policy. Policy influences foreign ownership, regulation, and taxation. And when instability increases in parts of a country, capital lends to consolidate into safer urban cores, which pushes prices up even faster in places like Mexico City. And in desirable central neighborhoods like Roma or Condesa, condos commonly range from about $250,000 to $500,000. Larger on renovated properties can easily push past $600,000. And here's what people don't take into consideration. Foreign buyers' demand has surged. Local wages have not kept pace, and that creates political pressure. Short-term rental regulations are tightening, and there is growing public pushback against foreign ownership in certain neighborhoods, especially as affordability becomes a national issue. And on top of that, Mexico's legal system is very different from the U.S. Title security, escrow structure, and enforcement mechanisms operate differently. And if you've never navigated it before, it can feel unfamiliar. And none of this makes Mexico a bad move. It just means you cannot treat it like a cheap extension of California. You're buying into a country that is managing real security challenges, real political dynamics, and real regulatory shifts. And that requires strategy, not hype. Next on the list is Cape Town. Now, Cape Town is breathtaking. Ocean views, dramatic landscapes, incredible lifestyle potential. In prime areas like Camps Bay or along the Atlantic seaboard, apartments often range roughly from about $250,000, I'd say, to $600,000. And luxury villas can quickly move into the $800,000 to $1.5 million range. But this decision is not just about price. South Africa has ongoing energy reliability challenges. Crime levels remain a concern in certain areas, and there is also political uncertainty around long-term land reform policies. And if you are buying for lifestyle and you understand the realities, it can work out just fine. But if you're expecting a frictionless, first world stable environment, well, you may feel more risk than you planned for. So now let's talk about Barcelona. Now, Barcelona pulls people in emotionally, but the property market reflects intense global demand. In central districts like Example and Garcia, apartments commonly range from about $400,000 to $800,000. Premium renovation units can exceed $1 million. And Spain has also adjusted visa pathways and tax rules in recent years. There is increasing scrutiny around foreign investment and housing availability. Tourism pressure has led to stricter short-term rental regulations. And if your strategy involves renting out the property or using it part-time, regulatory changes can directly impact your numbers. And Barcelona is no longer an early entry Mediterranean bargain. It is a mature European market with complex rules. Now, let's talk about Manila in the Philippines. Metro Manila's prime districts like Makati or Bonifacio Global City often see condo prices ranging from about $150,000 to $350,000. Higher end developments can exceed 400,000. And foreigners cannot directly own land in the Philippines. You are typically limited to the condominium ownership under specific percentage caps within a building. And that structural limitation matters long term. There's also governance and infrastructure consistency considerations. Typhoon exposure and environmental risks should not be ignored. And if you are buying for retirement stability, you need to think beyond the initial purchase price. Now, how about Thailand, and specifically Bangkok? In central neighborhoods like Smookvit and Silam, modern condos commonly range from about 120 to 300,000, and larger luxury units can move into the 400 to 600,000 range. Foreign ownership in Thailand is generally limited to a certain percentage of total condo units in a building, and land ownership for foreigners is highly restricted. Visa categories change frequently. Retirement and long-stay programs evolve, and financial requirements can increase. And Thailand can absolutely work, but if you're planning a 20-year ownership horizon, you need to be comfortable operating inside a framework where policy adjustments are not rare. And then there's Bali. In popular areas like Canggu or Simyak, leasehold villas commonly range from about 150 to 400,000 depending on the lease length and location. And premium properties can exceed 500,000. And the key word there is leasehold. Foreigners typically cannot directly own freehold land. Most structures rely on long-term leases or nominee arrangements. If structured improperly, that creates legal exposure. Indonesia also periodically revises foreign investment rules. What works today may not work identical 10 years from now. And if you don't understand the legal structure deeply, you're not just buying a house, you're buying into a legal arrangement that may have an expiration date. So here's the real takeaway. In 2026, you're not just choosing a country, you are choosing a political climate, a visa structure, a regulatory system, and a long-term economic trajectory. And some of the most famous expat destinations are no longer early-stage opportunities. They're competitive, regulated, and politically sensitive markets. Meanwhile, other countries that require deeper research may offer stronger long-term alignment if you approach them correctly. Now, if you tell me your investment budget, whether you want a lifestyle property or long-term appreciation, and how involved you're willing to be locally, I can narrow this down to a few options that actually fit you instead of following the trend cycle. So call the number below for free one-on-one guidance and watch my next video if you're considering which are the best countries to move to in 2026.